Children, last class I have completed the classification of animal kingdom. Hope you all clear with that portion, and I gave homework in my last session, but only very few have sent the homework to me. Children, it's not good. Children, please obey the words of teachers and send the homework then and there. And another thing, and many of you did not submit the classwork note also for a plant physiology lesson, which I send a PDF for you. Then the plant physiology lesson will be the test portion for coming week Sunday. Yes, right? So, still few of you didn't submit your classwork note, children. Complete your classwork note and submit as soon as possible. Okay, right? So, today children, I am going to enter a new topic, that is organization of tissues. Organization of tissues. Okay. What is mean by tissues? What is mean by organization of tissues is the question here. Okay. So, what is tissue? You know very well. All living organism, whether a plant or animal, whether unicellular organisms or multicellular organisms, whether it is a plants or animals, all are made up of cells. All living organisms are made up of cell. That you know very well, right? Okay, good. So, what happen when cells are together joined to form? What? Yes, right. When the cells together form, it give a tissue. It give a structure called tissues. Okay. What is tissues? Tissues is nothing but the cells of similar origin, function and structure are called tissues, right? So, and then further, you know, when tissues are combined, similar tissues combined together form organs, and the organs together form, many organs together form a organ system, and many organ system together form an organisms. Okay. So, this what the consequence, it's a basic of biology also. So, here we are going to discuss about organization of tissues in plants as well as animals. So, you are clear that there are cells of similar origin, structure and function give a tissues, isn't it? This is a concept. This is a concept of or a definition for tissues. Okay. So, in this chapter we are going to discuss various types of tissues in plants as well as animals, right? See children, to study plant tissue, it is very easy. It is very easy. Why it is easy? See, plant tissue are two main categories. Plant tissues are divided into two main categories. Children, have it in your mind, two main categories. What are the two main categories? One is a permanent tissue, another one is simple tissue. One is permanent tissue, another one is simple tissue. So, these are the two tissues. These are the two tissue system, main tissue system seen in plant. Okay, right. What is, let's come, what is permanent tissue? What is meristematic tissue? Where they are present? Let me say. So, first we will see about meristematic tissues. Okay. So, children, when you see the tender part of the plants, where it is present, mostly it will be present in the tip of the stem. There is a tender leaves, and its color is a little bit different from other matured leaves, right? So, okay, the cells present in the tender regions of the plants, okay, like tip of the stem and tip of the root, they possess meristematic tissues. Okay. Then what is the next question? What is the characters of meristematic tissue? Main characters. The meristematic tissue has a character that it divide continuously. You know very well, children, from the tip of the stem only the plants grow, isn't it? Okay, when the cells are multiplying at the tip of the stem and the tip of the root grows towards the down and the shoot grows towards the up, isn't it, children? So the length of the plant is due to the cell division taken place in the tip region of stem and root. So why the cell division taken place in tip of the root and stem? Another question, okay? Because it is nothing but the tip of the root and stem consists of a special type of cells called meristematic cells. This meristematic cell have the ability to divide, okay, right, children? So, okay, the meristematic cells started dividing. What is the next? See, when the meristematic cells started dividing, some of the dividing meristematic cells differentiated into permanent cell, and the rest of the cells continue to dividing, okay, continue to dividing. So, I said the meristematic cell only differentiate into permanent tissue. Yes, right? So, yes, this is another category of plant tissue. What is meristematic tissue? That is a permanent tissue. That is the permanent tissue is differentiate from the meristematic cells and it stop division of cells. Permanent tissue don't have any ability to divide. So, see if it is differentiated into parenchyma or collenchyma or sclerenchyma, then it take up its function, it will not divide further, okay. So, those cells are called permanent tissue. And here I want to say one thing and I want to ask one question also. Only the tip of the root and stem alone consists of meristematic tissue, is that my question? Yes, okay. Yeah, no. In the dicot stem and gymnosperm, that there is a secondary growth taken place. So, the meristematic cells are present in the nodal region of the stem and also lateral region of the stem, sometimes vascular cambium. These all you will learn in your higher classes, children, about vascular cambium, cork cambium. These are increase the girth of the stem, or breadth of the stem. So, there also some meristematic cells are present. Those meristematic stems are called lateral meristem, and then the meristematic cells present in between the nodes you know, in the stem where the leaves are originate, and that particular part of the stem is called a node. So, in between the two nodes is called internodes, okay. So, in between the internodes there is some meristematic tissues are present, okay, children. That's all about meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Again, about meristematic characters all I said, okay. Again, meristematic tissues are divided into two types. One is simple tissue, another one is complex tissue. So, please children, you can draw a mind map. That is plant tissue is divided into two categories. One is permanent tissue, another one is meristematic tissue, okay. Permanent tissue, some of the meristematic tissue differentiated into permanent tissue. The permanent tissue take up the function of its own, and the meristematic tissue continues to divide. This meristematic tissue are of two types. One is simple tissue, another one is complex tissue. What is simple tissue? It is nothing but if a tissue is made up of only one type of cells is called simple tissue. Say for example, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma tissues. See, if I take as an example of parenchyma tissue, the tissue is completely made up of only parenchyma cells. There is no sclerenchyma or sorry children, or collenchyma tissues, okay. Collenchyma cells are present. If we are taking collenchyma, it consists of only collenchyma cells. No other tissues are present except collenchyma in that tissue. So, those tissue is called simple tissue. If a tissue is made up of only one type of cell, it is simple tissue. And what about complex tissue? Yes, right. If a tissue is made up of more than one type of cells, is called what? Complex tissue. Example for complex tissue are xylem and phloem. Okay, so then okay, simple tissue made up of one cell. Sorry children, there was some disturbance in recording. Sorry, please bear it. Okay children, so I am discussing about the complex tissue. As a complex tissue made up of many types of different types of cells. Example for complex tissues or xylem and phloem, all I said already. That xylem is made up of 4 different types of cells. Xylem is made up of 4 different types of cells, that is xylem tissue, xylem parenchyma, xylem tracheids, xylem vessels and xylem fibers. Same way phloem also made up of 4 different types of cells, that is companion cells, sieve tubes, phloem parenchyma and phloem vessels, or the 4 different types of cells seen in the phloem. But about xylem, in xylem all the 4 cells carry out a same function, that is conduction of water. Same way in phloem all the 4 different types of cells involved in the translocation of food material from the part of synthesis to the part of need. Okay children, so this was about introduction of plant tissue children. Let me enter into the text now. Hope you got an idea about the plant tissue surely. Okay, introduction. Unicellular organisms like bacteria and protozoans are made of single cells. On the other hand, multicellular organisms like higher plants and animals are composed of millions of different types of cells that are grouped into different levels of organization. Multicellular organisms have a specialized cells, tissues, organs and organ system that perform specific function. Yes, so in the first paragraph what they are trying to understand to us is make to understand to us what unicellular, that is organism made up of only one cell, right? So example we can say as bacteria, or we can give as a protozoan, or some single cell organism we can give as an example of what unicellular. So when we take unicellular organism, it consists of only one cell. So there is no other type of cells is not there. There is no chance at all also. So when we take in the same way in multicellular organism, the multicellular organisms, it consists of many cells, that too in different cells. Okay, so these cells when arranged together form tissues, and when tissues arranged together form organs together form organ system, like that in higher plants and animals, like that organization we can see. Okay, so that's what they are trying to say us. In unicellular only one type of cell, multicellular made up of many cells in different cells. Okay, so group of cell positioned and designed to perform a particular function is called tissue. So what is tissues? Okay, another 1-2 mark question. So group of cells positioned and designed perform a particular function. Okay, so for example xylem, it grouped to form tissues. These tissues conduct only water. This is the only function. That's what a particular function they are mentioning here. An organ is a structure, is made up of a collection of tissue that carry out a specialized function. Okay, an organ. Next, okay, group of cells which positioned and designed perform particular function, tissues. Same way, organs is a structure made up of collection of tissues that carry out specialized function. So when collection of tissues together form organ, that organ involved in a particular function. Say for example root absorb the water. The root is made up of different kinds of tissues, like that. So for example in a plant the root, stem and leaves are organs, whereas xylem and phloem are tissues. Yes, right. Similarly in animals, even we take an animals stomach for example of an organ is an organ that consists of a tissue. Stomach consists of different types of tissues such as epithelial cells, gland cells, muscle cells and mucous cells also present, but here it is not mentioned. In this chapter you will learn about different types of plant and animal tissue and how they are modified to coordinate life activities. Okay children, okay. So first we will see plant tissues. Plants are made up of vegetative and reproductive tissues. In general, plants tissues are classified into two types. As I said, one is meristems or meristematic tissues, another one is permanent tissue. So these are the two tissues we can see in the plant tissues. Meristematic tissues. The term meristem is derived from a Greek word meristos. What is the meaning of that word meristos, which means divisible or having cell division activities? So the meaning of meristos is divisible or having cell division activity. Then meristematic tissues are grouped of immature cells that are capable of undergoing cell division. Okay, so what is the character of meristematic tissue? As I said, or group of immature cell. Actually it is an immature cell since it is present in the tender region of the plants. It is immature in nature only, and that have the capability to undergo cell division. So this is the two main character. One is immature and undergo cell division. These are the two main characters of meristematic tissues. In plants, meristems is found in zones where growth can takes place. Okay, so where the in plants meristem is found in zone where the meristematic cells are present. As I said, where can growth takes place, right? Where the growth can takes place, yes, right, in the tip of the root and stem only the growth of the plants have taken place. So there only this meristematic cells are present. Example, apex of the stem. Apex means what? Tip. Apex of the stem, root and leaf primordia, vascular cambium, cork cambium. This vascular cambium, cork cambium increased in the breadth of the stem, and apex of the root and stem increase the length of the plant, and leaf primordia help and increase the surface area of the leaf. Okay, so wherever the growth is necessary, there the meristematic cells are present. So then what are the characteristic features of it? Is a 2-mark question. Characteristic features of, sorry, you can have as a 4-mark question this, since 5 points are there regarding characteristic features of meristematic cells. They are living cell. Meristematic cells are living cells. Then what about the size and shape of the cell? The cells are small in shape, or oval in shape, or polygonal, or round in shape. And then they are thin walled with dense cytoplasm, large nuclei. Regarding nuclei, when nuclei and cytoplasm, meristematic cells consist of a dense cytoplasm. That means it has a more cytoplasm and a large nuclei, and small vacuoles are seen. Since it is a plant cell, it has vacuoles. So in mature cells, the vacuole occupy most of the cytoplasmic area, but in meristematic cells, the vacuoles are smaller in size. Cytoplasm is more larger nuclei. These are the character of meristematic tissue. But a permanent tissue, this ulta has happened. That is, vacuoles are larger in size, nuclei is small, and cytoplasm will be very less. And fourth point, it undergo mitotic cell division. They do not store food material. They undergo mitotic cell division and they do not store any food material. But permanent tissue, it will not undergo mitotic cell division but store the food material. So these are the difference and also characters of what meristematic tissue. You please note down, children. This is a 4-mark question for you. Next one, we are enter into the types of meristematic tissue based on the position. That is, where the meristematic cells are present. Based on that position, it is divided into 3 types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. So as I said, if the meristem is present in the tip of the root and stem, is called apical meristem. Same way, when it is present in the nodal region of the stem, it is called intercalary meristem. So then when it is present in the cork cambium and vascular cambium, it increases the girth, it is called lateral meristem. So these are the 3 types of meristem you can see in the meristematic tissue. Okay, on the basis, let's enter the text, children. On the basis of their position in the plant, meristem are of 3 types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. Apical meristem these are found at the apices, that is tip or growing points of root and shoot, and bring about increase in length. So only two things in this, that is where it is located, what its function. Apical meristem present in the apices of root and stem, and it increase the function is increase the length, that's all. Next, intercalary meristem. It lies between the region of permanent tissues, underline it, where it is located between the region, between the two permanent tissues it is present, and is a part of primary meristem, and it is found either at the base of the leaf or at the base of the internodes. Either it will be present at the base of the leaf, because the leaves are originate in the node region only. Okay, children. So the intercalary meristem is present in the base of at the base of the leaf or base of the internode. Okay, so in pinus tree it is present at the base of the leaf, and in the grasses it is present at the base of the internode. Next, lateral meristem. These are arranged parallel and causes the thickness of the plant part. These are arranged in a parallel and causes the thickness of the plant part. So the next one is function, that is the function of meristem. Meristems are actively dividing tissue of the plant that are responsible for primary and secondary growth of the plant. Okay, so meristematic, already I said it is actively dividing. So since it actively dividing the tissue of the plant that are responsible for primary and secondary growth of the plant. Next one is a permanent tissue. Permanent tissue are those in which growth has stopped either completely or for the time being. So what is mean by time being here is, see, some of the meristematic tissues are differentiated into permanent tissue, and the process is called differentiation. Sometimes some of the parenchyma, again it acquire the ability to divide, that is it become meristematic tissue, and this is called de-differentiation. That's what they are saying here. Some of the permanent tissue is stop cell division permanently or time being. At times they become meristematic partially or wholly. Permanent tissue are of two types, simple tissue and complex tissue. So simple tissues. So simple tissues are, hope you are following me, children. What I said is coming one by one. Now we are going to see simple tissue. What is simple tissue? Give example. 2 mark question. Simple tissue are homogeneous tissues. That means what? Made up of similar, same kind of tissues. Simple tissue are homogeneous tissues composed of structurally and functionally similar cells. Example, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So these are the examples of what? Simple tissue, children. Let's see one by one. About a parenchyma, refer the diagram, children. Parenchyma diagrams are given here. Parenchyma, a simple permanent tissue. It's a living cell composed of what? Living cells. Parenchyma cells are thin walled, oval shape or round shape or polygonal in shape, and with well developed spaces among them. That means what? In between the cells there is a space, that is called air spaces or intercellular space also we can say. That's here it's saying as what? As well developed air spaces, and is named as parenchyma. See, one parenchyma. See, parenchyma also divided into 3 types. Okay, we can say it as here 2 types only given as per our syllabus, children. That is what? Parenchyma possess intercellular space. Usually all the parenchyma cells maximum they possess what? Intercellular spaces, except in few region in the endodermis of the root and stem, epidermis of the root and stem, we cannot see the gap between the parenchyma cells, but in cortex region all we can see the intercellular spaces. Okay, children. So when Parenchyma has more air cellular space, and the cellular space and the space are filled with air. Then the type of parenchyma is said to be arenchyma. So when exposed to light, when the parenchyma cells are exposed to light, parenchyma cell may develop chloroplast, and then parenchyma which possess or develop chloroplast cells are known as what? Chlorenchyma cells. So parenchyma function may store water in many succulent and xerophytic plant. It also serves the function of storage of food reserves, absorption, buoyancy, secretion, etc. So when we see about the functions of parenchyma, in aquatic plant, it store the water, so it is succulent, and in xerophytic it also it store in succulent water, it store the water and it becomes succulent. It serve the functions of storage. In some plant it store the food, reserve food, and buoyancy, absorption of food, and buoyancy, secretion, etc. also. So in potato, see, do you know, you see, in potato, parenchyma vacuoles are filled with starch. In apple, parenchyma stores sugar. These are the various functions of what? Parenchyma. So parenchyma, parenchyma or round shape or oval in shape or polygonal in shape, and it is thin walled, it is a living cells, and parenchyma are divided in two types. When the air cellular space is more and filled with air, then the parenchyma said to be arenchyma. When the parenchyma cells exposed to light, it develop chloroplast in it, and those cells are called chlorenchyma. Regarding function, in xerophytic plant it store the water, in some other plant it store the food material, absorption, buoyancy, all secretion, all the functions of what? Parenchyma cells. And collenchyma, collenchyma also living tissue where it is found beneath the epidermis. So then children, about epidermis, endodermis, all in 10th standard you will learn clearly. Okay children. So then cells are elongated with unevenly thickened long lignified cells. Cells have rectangular, oblique or tapering ends, and persistent protoplast are present. When the protoplast are present, the cells is called living cell. When there is no protoplast, the cell is called dead cell, and they possess a thick primary non-lignified cell wall. See here, you can observe in the collenchyma diagram children, in between the cells there is a black color structure is there, you know, that is called what? Cell wall thickening. The cell wall is thickened more. Why? Because due to the presence of lignin substance. The thickening of cell wall in collenchyma is due to the substance called lignin. And this is the special character of what? Collenchyma. It is present below the epidermis, that is in the hypodermis, and they provide mechanical support for growing organs. This is the function of collenchyma. So sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma consists of thick-walled cells and are often lignified. Sclerenchyma cells are dead and do not possess living protoplast at maturity. So here children, sclerenchyma cells are thick-walled, and it is not a living cell. Why? Because it don't have any protoplast in its mature stage, and that's what it is called as what? Dead cells. And the sclerenchyma cells grouped into fibers and sclerites. Okay, the sclerenchyma further divided into two types. One is fiber, another one is sclerites. What about fibers? Fibers are elongated sclerenchymatous cells, usually with pointed ends. Okay, you can refer the diagram for fibers children. See, this is a fiber and sclerites diagram as given here. You refer when you are learning about this fiber and sclerites. About fibers, it is elongated and sclerenchymatous cells, usually with pointed, both ends are pointed in fibers. Their walls are lignified. Fibers are abundantly found in many plants. It is abundantly found in many plants. The average length of fibers is 1 to 3 millimeter. However, in plants like Linum eusitatissimum, it is a flax, and Cannabis sativa hemp, and Corchorus capsularis jute, fibers are extensively longer, ranging from 20 millimeter to 550 millimeter length. Then this about what? Fibers. and sclerites are widely distributed in plant body. They are usually broad, may occur in single or in groups. It may be occur in single or in groups. Sclerites are isodiametric with lignified walls. All are possess. Collenchyma possess lignified cell walls. Sclerites in sclerenchyma both fiber and sclerites possess lignified cell walls. And the pits are pointed and seen along the walls. Pits are pointed, seen along the cell walls. Lumen means what? The cavity inside the sclerites is filled with the wall material. Sclerites also common in fruits and seeds. Where the sclerites are common, it is common and fruits and seeds. Okay children, I will stop today's session with this, and I will continue the complex tissue in my next session. And I will give a homework. Please complete and send it to me. The homework which I am going to give to you is only 2 questions. One is give what is meristematic tissues and give a characteristic features of meristematic tissue. Another one is classify the meristematic tissue based on the position and explain it. These are the 2 questions I am given as a homework for you today. Complete it and send it, and get ready for day after tomorrow's test children. Thank you. Bye.